Welcome to the Hollywood Heroine Podcast. All things pop culture, gossip, Kardashians, Real Housewives, reality TV. It's an addiction and we want to talk about it all. New episodes every Wednesday, and follow us on our Instagram account at the Hollywood Heroine with an E at the end. I want to hear what you guys have to say about the crazy pop culture world we are obsessed with. What is up, everybody? We are here recapping Ronjay episode 3. Right?
Oh, it's going by so fast.
It's going by so fast. Ronjay episode 3, we're going to be talking with my best friend, Sersoy. She's here joining us again to recap.
Hey.
We'll be doing Ronjay and then a quick Miami recap because we're both loving Miami. So why not?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So let's get into the full sort of recap, a breakdown of what happened last night. Quickly, obviously we want to talk about like what happens at the party, but like quickly we'll get into the first thing I want to talk about with you is Jackie and Evan going for dinner.
Yeah, I was really surprised at this.
Yes, because you and I kind of discussed last week. We're like, what's Jackie's storyline? Like, she doesn't really like have much. And in this scene, they go to dinner. Their kids are away for 2 weeks, which, by the way, at first I was like, oh my God, like, how do you send your kid off for 2 weeks? But when I see them like going on dates, I'm like, damn, like that's like pretty cute though. Like 2 weeks alone.
Especially because they have so many kids, right? It's like 3 or 4.
They have so many. I think they have like 4, maybe 5. I don't even know.
Oh,
but she has a lot. I think she has the same as Jen. But anyway, so they go to this restaurant. Like, it's so cute. And Evan, I just love Evan. Like, he's just like
so cute, such
a good man. And like, if I think Mauricio for me is my favorite house husband, but he's probably my second favorite. Like, anyways, so they sit down, they're chatting, whatever. And right away, he's like, okay, I'm going to order food. And she's like, I'm good. And I was like, why isn't she not eating? Like,
but it was weird that she even said it's 5. Like, she noted the time and she's like, it's 5:30. I don't have to eat right now.
Yeah, which I didn't understand why she said that. I was like, huh? Like, so what? Just eat now. And then she says it again. She's like, I'll have another rosé. And she's like, I'm not going to eat. Da, 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 da. And then, I don't know, I guess they started talking about like her eating and how back in the day, because they're talking about like frat parties. She's like, you and I were like a sorority and like frat, whatever. And she's like, remember that time we went out? And she's like, I passed out. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you fainted. She's like, I never ate. I didn't even eat that day. And they basically get into like all of like these memories, and they show that picture of her wedding. Oh my God. I got like her back, like bones. Oh my God. I was just like, my heart was just breaking for her. And she was really like opening up in this moment. And he's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I wish I could do more for you. Like, he was the ultimate partner in this moment.
Yeah, he responded very well.
Very well. And she was like, she started crying. And he was like, I think like the kids noticed, because he's like, and she's like, what? She's like, what do you mean? And he's like, they always ask me like, why does mom eat the same thing every night? And it was just heartbreaking. It was just a very vulnerable like conversation that Jackie had on camera. And she has had it before, but like seeing his support too was just like a really beautiful thing. And he was like, I'm sorry, like I'm always going to be there for you now moving forward. And ultimately she said she's going to go to therapy again.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what came out of that.
It was interesting because when she brought it up, I can't remember if it was 2 seasons ago or whenever it was, she framed it like it was something in the past. And that I do understand with a lot of these kind of disorders, it's never like done. It's always something that maybe impacts you going forward. But it kind of scared me where she was like, I think she's gone down to be worse, because she's like, I'm scared to relapse because she's seeing like her same patterns again. And him even noting that like some of her behaviors, like how she like writes everything down and that she has a certain hour that she eats. That's why she had mentioned like, oh, it's 5:30. Like, I don't have to eat right now. Like, it's obviously still really controlling her. And I feel really bad for her. I don't know if it was the stress, like she said, from like the last year season, where like people were freaking out about her and Evan, like him cheating, whatever, that like caused her to kind of go downhill. And that's like so unfortunate that a stupid rumor is now seriously impacting like her physical and mental health like that.
That's a very good point, because she did reference that. And I was like, damn, like this shit must have been like real if like it really like affected her.
Yeah.
And it's just really sad. And like for her to say like, I'm scared I'm going to die. I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't want to be ignorant, but like people legit die from this. Like, it's such a like thing to me that I'm like, wow, you legit stopped eating.
I'm not trying to like make fun of anything, but like, you know, drinks do have calories. Like,
so I was saying the same.
To, like, have alcohol. It's like, keep having your rosé. Like, girl, that has calories too. Like, I don't get it. How does this work?
I was saying the same. I'm like, she's good because she's eating her weight in like basically sugary drinks. So like, she's fine. And then later she had like beer. I'm like, oh, so she's good. Like, obviously, like you should eat.
No nutrients. Yeah.
But like, yeah, she's obviously not to that point where like she's not even drinking something. Like she was still having rosé and having beer. So like, those calories, girl, you got to count them calories.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very raw of her. And I feel sad. But sure. Evan's super hot.
Love Evan.
Hot dad, hot husband.
Yeah.
So sweet.
He's so amazing. Okay. So then we leave. Okay. So basically what we get from that conversation, she's basically like, let's YOLO and live our life. Cause she's like, the kids are coming back in like 4 days. She's like, let's have a party. And he was like, whatever you want. He's like, do it up. She's like, okay, we'll plan tomorrow. He's like, plan now. He's like, why not? I'm like, oh, he's so like amazing and like fun. But yeah, so they're basically, she's like, we're going to plan like a frat party type of like event. So then it cuts to, I'm going to really kind of skip over like the waist scene so that we get to like the brunt of like what happened.
Sounds good.
We get to Louis' house. And this is the first time I think that we've actually seen his house.
So I had a question. Is this his house separate from like they haven't
I think so
in together yet, right?
Yeah, I don't think this is
not their house.
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's not. His brother's over there like cooking. It was really cute. He was like getting all excited. He's like, should I fry the eggplant? And like he's getting like an Italian like Sunday dinner ready for Teresa's family, basically. They all come over, whatever. And Louis like, okay, like we're gonna talk about our feelings. And Gabriella's like, oh, she's like, I don't want to talk about my fucking feelings. I love Gabriella this season. I feel like she's me. She's like watching them. She's like, what the hell? Like
she doesn't speak at all.
She doesn't.
They just always show her like just her reaction for like 2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously the big thing that we don't discuss, Melania and Gia had a quick scene in the beginning of the episode at like Gia's like sweatshirt photo shoot. And Melania was basically like, I'm not over this. Like, I like still am pissed. And Gia's like, bro, like, stop. Like, she's like, it's done now. She's like, no, I didn't have my say. And I was like, oh, here we go. Like, she needs to earn her paycheck too. So obviously, in this scene, she already like comes in with like something like an attitude. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's like, whatever. They cooked their food. It was super cute. It made me really want to get a pizza oven now, especially because like seeing them make pizzas, I was like, that's actually very cute. So then whatever, they're all like cooking, whatever. It was so cute. And then they all sit down, they finish their food. And Louis brings up again. He's like, guys, like we should play this game where like we just like ask, I think the question was, what do you want to bring more of into your life? And
what do you want to move away from? It was like 2 things. Yeah.
It was like crickets. And it cuts to like the kids and they're like, oh my God, this is so awkward. Well, it was just like the editing was really funny. And then I think he answers first and he goes first. And his answer was like very like, I don't understand. He's like, you know, like I'm tired of sitting in confusion, you know, like sitting in the past, like not living my life. Like I'm failing going forward. Like I'm failing leaning forward. I was like, what? Like, what are you saying? It was very like big.
Yeah. And it wasn't like practical at all. It wasn't like specific. It was just like philosophy of life. Like, okay.
Yeah. And then Joe Gorga's like sitting there, like rocking on like the bench together. And Joe Gorga's like, he's like, what the fuck am I going to say next? He's like, how am I going to top this off? And then it cuts to Joe Gorga. He's like, bro, what is this guy saying? Like he's talking in code, but it was cute. I understood what he was trying to say, but like, poor guy, like it just came out like very not for your audience, because half your audience is like 15-year-old children, like they're not gonna understand what you're saying. And then I loved when it goes to Teresa. He's like, okay, like babe, go next, whatever. She's like, maybe loyalty. And then Melissa's
she's gonna
like,
lean more into yeah.
And then but she doesn't say like what. She's like loyalty. And Melissa's like, oh, she's like, you want to be more loyal. And then Teresa's like, no, I am loyal. She's like, I expect it from others. I'm like, bitch, this is not the assignment. So Melissa's like cracking up. She's like, no, this girl doesn't understand. Like she can't ever like analyze herself and like judge herself. Like she has to judge everyone else around her.
She's not very self-aware, no.
Not at all. And even Louis was like trying to like pull stuff out of her. He's like, what about when you do this? She's like, no.
And then Melissa goes, and then she's like, okay, how about what you're gonna let go of? Maybe judgment? And she's like, no, I don't do that.
Yeah, she's like, I don't do that. Melissa's like,
girl, like I don't think you know yourself.
Definitely not. And then it cuts to Melania. She's like gonna pop off, like she wanted to say something. You know, all their facial reactions. I'm just like, what do you think about this?
First of all, like you talked a little bit about like the scene at Gia's sweatshirt shoot, and like the way they were talking, like they are so their parents and their family, like
Totally.
they all have that same dramatic way of talking and speaking.
Yeah.
And like then now in Louis' house, like the way that she said it too, she like they've become like adults in a way, the way that they're speaking. I'm like, geez, girl.
For sure. It's like this very dramatized, I deserve to be, you know, I need answers, or I want to have any respect. Like, yeah.
But I think she ended up coming off a little bit softer than like the teasers were anticipate, like making it seem like it was going to cause this whole fight. But she did like bring it up a little bit softer, that she was like still hurt about the way that, you know, her mom's being yelled at, her dad's being like cussed at. I think it ended up in a nice way, in the way that Joe finally did respond. I don't know if you're going to talk about that. Yeah,
totally. And like, even I was writing my notes, it's like she goes from saying, I have a lot of things I could say right now, and I'm like, oh shit, like she's gonna pop up. Then I think it goes to like commercial, it comes back, and she's like, I want to let go of everything. She's like, I don't want to overthink anything anymore. She's like, what's going to happen? Like, let's just move forward. I was like, oh, like that's completely different tone than what I thought it was going to be.
I thought it was going to be a fight.
And then Uncle Joe too, he was like, I get you, girl. Like, I don't want to fight about this anymore. Like, let's just let it go. So like it completely, I mean, it took a great turn, but like the way they edited it before the commercial, as if like they're going to like pop off and like have this huge fight.
And Joe made a good point. He's like, we're all upset right now because we're living in the past and we're thinking about things that were like before. Like, let's just let it go and like move on. And I'm glad, like, I don't want to hear about this anymore. I know. Like, I'm over this. And like, you know, Louis' like initial response was like so weird, but at the end, like it facilitated this good convo. So I'm glad he started it.
Totally. In the end, and even I think they even say they're like, thank you, Louis, for like having us over. And like, and I was like, it was very cute. Like, as much as I know the internet right now is like really on him, like I'm seeing all these posts every day that they're like, he's gonna get arrested, like his company's like this fraudulent like data like thing company, like they take your data and stuff. And I'm like, I just want to believe that he is good. I really do want to believe he's good. I don't want to believe, and I don't want to like know, and I know that's ignorant, but like I just want her to have like a happy ending. And I really want to hope that like people change. Maybe before he did mess up, maybe before he did do shitty things, or like he didn't know how to deal with his emotions, because clearly he's a very emotional guy.
Yeah, very emotional.
And maybe now he's better.
Articulate yet. He's not very articulate yet, but he's very emotional.
Yeah. And that's okay. It's just like maybe now he's finding the tools of how to deal with those emotions, and he wants to move forward with Teresa. Like, I'm really, really hoping that that's the case.
Me too. I hope he ends up being a good guy. I don't want a bad guy again.
Okay. So we leave that like party Sunday, whatever. And then we kind of cut to the pre-party before this frat party. And it's kind of like everyone getting ready, like, you know, on their way to go to this thing. Frank goes, I guess, to pick up Dolores at the townhouse. And he's like, oh, he's like, it's like, I'm coming to pick you up and we're going on a date to like a frat party. And he's like, I'm like, you're like my girlfriend. And she's like, ha, okay. And I was like, they're kind of cute though.
I don't know. I don't even know what to think anymore, because like in the first few seasons with them, I was like, why don't they just get back together? Like they're living together. They have a happy family, but they're going a little bit more into their history now. And like the way that Dolores was saying how, you know, Frank wants to move back into the house with the kids, and like to see at least their daughter's response to that being like pretty negative, that she didn't want him to move in with her. Like, I don't know, I guess there's more to their story that like we don't know fully, and maybe he's not as well. We obviously know he cheated on her and all that, like that they got divorced like so early in their marriage.
So let's talk about that, because we didn't talk about that in the beginning, but they do have a really big scene in the beginning of the episode where Dolores talks to little Frankie and what's her name, the girl doctor
Gabby, they call her.
And you're right, like there was these things that like I didn't know about their relationship. Like Dolores says she left Frank when she was pregnant with little Frankie. Like that's a long time ago. That is like Frankie's whole
Their
life,
whole life.
his parents were never together. Like, I didn't know that. I thought like maybe when he was like 2 or 3, like they got divorced because she just found out again or whatever that he cheated. To your point, like we're finding out all this information. And yeah, like Gabby was not happy with her dad. She's like, I don't want him coming over and like living with us and like bringing all these random girls over. It's just like a very different dynamic that I think in my head, I didn't understand this before.
Me neither.
And
she wasn't even referring to him as dad. She's like, Frank. She's like, I don't want Frank coming. I don't want Frank coming. And I was like, I thought you guys were all cool together. I didn't get it. I thought, oh, you such a good like divorced family that like figured out how to stay well together. I don't know if she's feeling a certain way now because of the house, but it threw me off. I was surprised.
Totally. And like the thing is too, okay, I have a couple questions for you. The first one being, why is he moving back into their house, right? Like he even says it later on in the episode that he sold in the divorce, Dolores got the house. So it's her house and it's the kids' house. So why is he moving back? And why does Dolores feel like she needs to let him back? Yeah.
I don't know what's up with his girlfriend. Why is he? I have no idea. That's a lot of questions. I hope they get more into it as the season progresses. But now, like, you know, following my question from last episode where I was like, how come Dolores is in this house and she's like throwing a housewarming and whatever, it seems like she's staying there now, and it's the house that's being renovated is just going to be for just supposed to be for the kids. That's what it seemed like this episode, that she's not trying to move back into the house, and it was just, she's just trying to get it done for the kids. And then now on top of that, Frank's trying to move in. I don't know what's going on there, and I hope they get more into it.
Like, why can't he go find his own apartment? Why can't he go live at the shore for like the whole year? Like, anyways, I'm sure like there's a reason why. Probably it's finances. Like he can't afford to like live in both at the same time. Like who knows? I don't know. But to my next point, like I wanted to ask you, do you ever see Dolores and Frank getting back together?
No.
In this lifetime?
I don't.
Never.
I don't. No, I think that like they have figured out a good relationship where they're good co-parents and good friends. They obviously rely and have on each other a lot, and they have each other's back. But I think she's like off him. Like I don't see anything romantic from her to him ever.
Do you see him to her?
Sometimes, like even I'm pretty sure it was this episode. Now I'm getting confused, but you know, not too much happens in this scene, but when he goes out for like quick drinks with Joe Gorga and Joe Benino, somewhere in the episode, he even mentions like Dolores was the perfect wife and is the perfect wife, and even still like he screwed up. I think if she opened the door, maybe he would, like he wants it more than she does. So maybe. But I don't see it from her at all. She's like, nah. No,
I think you're right. Like, I don't see it from her at all either. But for me, I question like, damn, like these two people work so well together in life. I'm not saying romantically. I'm saying as in terms of co-parenting, in terms of two human beings, like even renovating, like coworkers, like renovating a house and like in a business together. They seem like they can figure things out. Why can't they be in a relationship at this point in their life? Obviously, they've learned like lessons along the way, but that romantic spark obviously is like a huge component to it. So like if she doesn't feel that anymore for him, then like obviously that won't work. But I'm like, why can't it work?
I think betrayal at that level of, especially like I said, I didn't know that happened in terms of their divorce while she was pregnant. I think to experience like that kind of betrayal, like you just don't, maybe you're not as hurt about it anymore, but you just can't like,
you can't give your heart back to that.
Yeah. I get that.
That's true. Anyways, so that was just a cute, and he's always there for her. It seems like anyways, we'll talk about that whole David thing afterwards. But okay. So then this part really made me laugh because Jen is getting ready, cuts to Jen's house, and she calls Bill. And she's like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, he sounds so tired, the poor guy. He's like, oh, I'm just like finishing work. She's like, okay. She's like, I just picked out my outfit. She's like, so, you know, she's like, how are you feeling about tonight? And he's like, like, he's like clearly like doing work. He's like, how do I feel about tonight? She's like, okay, well, I'm feeling very reluctant. I'm like, this is,
He's like, I don't care.
he's like, fucking call your sister or something. Like, I'm trying to finish my work so I could come and take your ass to this party that poor guy doesn't even want to probably be at. It was just like a funny scene. And she's like, well, I'm feeling nervous because like everyone's like against me. Whatever. It's just like setting everything up, obviously. And then it cuts to, oh my God, random Tracy.
I knew you were gonna, I was just gonna say, I was like, I hope she brings it up because I was honestly, when she popped up, I'm like, who's this?
Every week.
I literally forgot. I was like, she's like, I was like, who is this? Oh my God. I'm glad you said it.
Again, I feel like she's just a recapper of the episode because like it's just him and her in their room like ironing clothes, and she's like, last week Jennifer left that scene crying, and no, and I was like, who is this person? Like, is she even in the show?
I feel like the editor, like the producers, the editors are not doing a good job of like integrating her into the show, and it's like very much an afterthought.
I will say she tries though, like especially this one again, she tries. But here's my thing with her in that scene, and she's talking to Tiki, and she's like, look, like they were so mean to Jen, whatever, last week. And again, she brings it back to her life. She's like, I just don't like mean people because when I had the affair with Tiki, people were mean to me and it's just not nice. I was like, okay, is this going to be your whole thing? Like every time someone's mean, like,
but are they going to get into it or not?
Like, I don't know.
I don't think they did have an affair. I think
not an affair, but like, she's like, everyone thought we did. So they were being mean to us. So it's just like, okay, I'm over that. I'm over that like thing of you. Like go, like say something different. Where are your kids? Like show like a different part of your life. Like, what's your career? What's his career? Like, I don't know. Just talk about something else. She's either just commenting on a scene that she was barely visible in, or she's saying like the world was mean to me because I like took this guy.
I mean, hopefully they get into her a little bit more because I literally was surprised again when they showed her and I was like, who's this girl? I keep forgetting.
She's such a nice person. I think she's a very sweet girl. I just like, I don't know if she fits into reality television.
Maybe she does, but maybe not with this group. These girls are rough. These girls are aggressive.
And then where's that new chick? The new chick didn't even come in. The other girl.
We didn't know her name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The one from last week, she wasn't even at this party.
Are they like trying to like test out? Like, I don't know what they're trying to do.
Maybe because it's been such a heated like first few episodes, like there's no time for them even to like intro them properly. I don't know. We'll see. Guys, let us know what you think about, what's her name? Tracy. So we get to this frat party. So here's the big frat party. There's a keg. And then there's this really big ice pineapple sculpture that Teresa and Louis sent them. And I didn't understand what that was. Like, was it just like a shot thing? Like you take shots out of it?
It's ice. It's an ice sculpture. So you pour the alcohol like through the top. So while it's going through, it chills. So when you suck it out the end, like a chilled shot.
Got it. And there's no pineapple flavor in that ice thing. Cause I was like, did she like infuse it with pineapple? So. I was like, that's sick.
I don't know. It maybe, but I don't think so. No, it was just the sculpture.
Yeah. So that looked cool, whatever. And then everyone like slowly like arrives. And then somehow Jorgorga's penis is like in discussion again.
I'm so over him sometimes. And like, sorry, you continue this story and then I'll add to
No. Cause I think his narcissism like really gets to you.
That and like the amount of time he spends talking about how much he gets laid is so excessive. Like usually when people talk this much about it, like it's not happening. But it probably is, I guess. But like, who cares? Like, nobody wants to know. You guys are married. Like, shut up.
You know what I think it is? I think he does get it. But I think like he has become this character now. And so he feels like he needs to uphold this character. Like this was Joe Gorga maybe in the first 2 seasons when he first started. He was like this horny Italian like dad who wanted to like fuck his wife like every minute. And then everyone loved that. They're like, oh, that's so funny. Like he's so horny for his wife. And I think he just I think he still is that person, but I think he plays it up more because he knows that people love it and like they laugh at him and like it gets him attention. And yeah. And it's like,
Okay,
he just
that makes
loves
sense,
when it's
'cause,
about
like,
him.
You've been telling the same story to the same people.
And then
for
Melissa's always like,
years.
Melissa's always
Like,
like,
yeah.
Joe, stop. And she's like, not really shutting him up, but she's like fake slap. I'm like, okay, if you wanted him to stop talking, you would tell him like, shut
Yeah.
the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
stop it. Don't say it. Anyways, but it was funny because who says it? Oh, Marge is like, I heard that Joe has a big penis. Oh, first Melissa says it.
That
She's
Dolores,
like,
yeah.
first Melissa's like, I'm not kidding about my husband. He, and then Marge is like, yeah, I know. She's like, I heard from Dolores. And Melissa's like, what? And poor Dolores is like on the other side of the room. And she's like, what are you guys talking about? And she's like, Melissa's like, Dolores, she's like, have you seen my husband's like penis? And she's like, what? No. She's like, who told you that? And Marge is like, yeah, you told me once that like you saw it or something, or like, you know, that it's big or something. And Dolores is like, no, like I never. And then of course, like Joe comes into the conversation. At that point, Melissa's like, did you guys ever hook up like when you were younger? And I was like, what did you think about that? Like, did you give it?
No, I don't see that at all. I see Dolores being like a big sister to him. I don't see that at all.
Totally. Do I think maybe she heard maybe rumors from other girls? Because, you know, we all know small communities and like everyone hooks up with everyone.
They were friends too. So like they weren't randoms.
Do I think she heard it from someone else that probably screwed Joe? Yeah, she was like, his dick is so big. Like maybe along the way she heard that story. Whatever. But Marge was like, I don't know.
See how she just says shit. She just says shit.
I feel like she's just like throwing random shit and like, she just wants to be relevant in the episode. Like if she's not relevant, she like pokes herself in and like says dumb shit. Like then she pops off. Margaret pops off. So the conversation switches again and she pops off about Jennifer, who hasn't come. She hasn't arrived yet. And Margaret's like, Jennifer, if she has any emotional intelligence, she'll come in here and like say sorry and like just be more like remorseful and da. Then Tracy steps in and she's like, at the end of the day, like she's sad and like she's allowed to be sad. And Margaret's like, who are you? Like, where did you come from? And Marge is like, okay, but like, how long is she going to be sad for? Like, get over it. And Tracy's like, there is no like expiration dates to be sad. Like she kept going with it. She's like, you just have to be kind. Like, stop being so like so mean. And Jackie gets involved and she's like, look, I don't want anyone in tears tonight. I just want it to like chill. And she's like, just like be nicer, like just like calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see that Jackie, even to Marge, was like kind of stepping up against her and saying, like, just chill out, just be nice to her. And then Jen arrives with Bill, whatever. And then Dolores and Tracy go over to talk to Jen, I think by the bar. And Dolores is like, yeah, like I felt bad about everything that happened. And she's like, at first I was on your side, but then like Marge convinced me and like I understood her side too. Whatever, like I know you're mad. And then Jen's like, well, I guess you're better friends with Marge than me. And Dolores is like, no. She's like, why would you say that? She's like, I'm friends with both of you. And then Jen says Jackie told her that she questions Dolores's friendship with Jen. And Dolores is like, that's it. Dolores is like, gets mad. She's like, what?
She's like, throw down.
Yeah. She's like, why the hell would she say that? She's like, that's not nice, questioning our friendship, which is true. Like, don't question someone else's friendship. Maybe she wasn't. No, she was questioning it. She was.
Well, we didn't really talk about it, but the previous scene where Jackie called Jen to invite her to this frat party, she said, oh, Teresa's not coming. And so Jen already felt like, oh, well, I'm kind of going to be alone. Yeah. Dolores is kind of like on the fence with this. And Jackie just said, maybe Dolores isn't being there for you the way she should be in a time like this. I don't think like she said anything too crazy.
Yeah.
But that's where she's getting it from, to say to Dolores that Jackie said, you're not a good friend to me.
Yeah. And then at that point, so she says that and she was like, no, that's not true. Jackie comes over. She goes, yeah. She's like, I'm saying you're Margaret's friend first, not Jen's.
And even Margaret said that. She's like,
after, Margaret comes in for
like,
sure.
Yeah, you're my friend.
Yeah. And Dolores is like, whatever. No, that's not true. And then Jackie's like, I'm sticking up for Jen right now. She's like, I'm comforting her. So like, I don't understand what the problem is. And Dolores is like, get the fuck out of here. Like, when did you start like sticking up for Jen? And then Marge like comes over and she's like, yeah, you are my friend more. Yeah. Dolores is like, no, that's not true. It just kept going back and forth and it kind of felt like a stupid fight. Like it was like a 15-year-old girl's fight being like, who's more friends with who? And like, it was stupid. And then Dolores asked Jen, she's like, do I support you? And Jen's like, well, actually, like you could actually support me more.
Yeah.
like realistically. And Dolores is like, I'm sorry. She's like, I'm definitely going to work on that. And then she kind of like looks over to Jackie. She's like, but I don't need to hear it from this. And like pointing to Jackie. And I was like, okay, that's like savage. And then Jackie freaks out. She's like, don't call me this. She's like, I deserve more respect than that, whatever. And then they get into each other's faces. Kind of like
it escalated quick,
very quick. She's like, you're gonna say something, and then it just like cuts to like to be continued.
First of all, that scene was like the whole promo for this episode, and then they left it to the last second, and it was like continue. It's like, so what's gonna happen is actually next episode. So annoying. I hate when they do that. It drives me crazy. But yeah, Dolores like switches on a dime. Like, God forbid you say anything to like disrespect her. I think she's just like very aggressive.
So it's interesting that you say that, because in the promo for next episode, it's Dolores, I think, and Jen and someone else was, I think maybe Melissa, I can't remember who. And Dolores admits that I think it was Teresa. Dolores admits that day of the party, she broke up with David.
Well, she said it during the episode.
So she says it kind of like
it happened.
I guess she doesn't say like when. And she even kind of says like, I don't want to talk about it right now. She's like, let's just have fun. Like we're drinking, whatever. Yeah. So I guess later, like she does explain like it was actually that day. So then I think Teresa, or I think Jen says it. She's like, maybe you were just like really upset. You were very aggravated. Right. Like you're very emotional. So like you were just like very easily triggered. So yeah, like I'm sure it has something to do with that too. Like that's fine. I don't really have a side, to be honest with in this situation. It was a kind of like a dumb fight.
It was dumb.
I didn't care much for it.
I mean, I like that Jackie holds her own and she doesn't let.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I don't know. Like I feel like I would get intimidated from Dolores. I'd be like, oh my God, okay, whatever. And she's like, she gets right back in her face too, which is like cool to see that she seems like the most different from this crew, but she still like can be quite feisty. But it was over nothing, honestly. It was so stupid.
It was over nothing. And I do appreciate Jackie thus far this season of how she's even like standing up to Marge. Like, even though she's not like insulting Margaret, she's more like keeping her in check too.
Yeah.
And that's how friends should be. Like, if you're good friends like that, like you should be able to like talk to your friend like that.
And the fact that she's like getting over everything and being there for Jen when maybe Jen doesn't really deserve it from her.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. It's very sweet.
Which again, like to your point, when you mentioned that phone call, Jackie doesn't even bring up the fact at first that Jen had called Frank and like was asking about Evan's affair. I was like, whoa, this girl like forgave her. And then like towards the end, like Jen's like, I said those things to Frank and like whatever. And then Jackie's like, don't even worry about it. Like, let's just be over it. Like, let's move on. I was like, wow, like she could have still been petty right now, but she had already like been done with the situation. So yeah,
I feel like in real life, I'd be friends with Jackie.
I think so. She's
cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who else seems cool?
Who?
Larsa Pippen.
No. This episode was so weird.
So we are done with Ranjay. That was our Ranjay recap. Let's switch over quickly to Miami and just discuss this episode. So we are seeing more of Larsa, which I am loving, because the first like couple episodes we didn't get to see her as much. Felt like it was more about the other housewives. So in this episode, she goes to, I think, dinner with Adriana and Kiki.
Yeah, single ladies.
And they sit, oh my God, I can feel the humidity. Like I can see it. I can see the humidity like,
I know.
in the air.
I'll still take it.
And so anyways, they sit down, and then I don't even know how it comes up. Like, I guess Adriana's like, oh, like, how are your friends doing or something? Like, how does she bring it up? She's like, your friends. And then Larsa's like, don't talk about my friends. And she's like, oh, you know Kanye? She's like, I saw his dick. Like, she just like says it. And Larsa's like, huh? And she's like, why did you stop talking to the Kardashians? She's like, like Kanye, she's like, stop talking about like my friends, or like, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
And Adriana's like, well, I saw him at Art Basel in the bathroom. She like, I opened the door and like he was there. She's like, it was really big and like thick. And Larsa's like, ew, like just stop talking about it. Like Larsa was very interesting to me, because like you would think that she would be great television and like great for reality TV, but like I also feel like she doesn't open up a lot. It's everything that's sort of like surface level. My jewelry brand, my this, my that, my selling my house. But when it comes, and she talks about the husband, obviously, but like we already know about like that's not like really groundbreaking news.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is very tight-lipped in this conversation. She's like, I'm not talking about those people. she does quickly mention the whole Kardashian like thing, how she basically admits that she's like, we were very good friends. She's like, you know, we did everything together. And she's like, I don't know. She's like, I guess I just like knew too much. And like, that was it.
Yeah.
And they X'd me out. What do you think about that?
Okay, I forget the timing of like when they cut her out, because the way that she made it seem was like she knew too much about their relationship, which is what led to it ending. But like I feel like that was in advance, but maybe it wasn't about that, and she just like knew too much about the family.
I think she just knew too much in general. But I think I mean, I think she is bullshitting us a little bit. I think there's probably a lot more of there's something else that happened.
Yeah.
Like, because even Adriana like references like Kanye's post, and when he like posted just Larsa in like caps.
Yeah.
And
like, what did that mean?
Yeah, like what did that mean? And I think Adriana was like, did she sleep with Kanye? Like, was there something there? I honestly don't think it has. That. I don't think she did that to Kanye. I really don't. My gut is telling me something with Tristan. I don't know what, but like, maybe how stupid can she be?
Well, maybe after the whole thing with Jordan. Well, everybody said that. How stupid can Jordan be? You know, and maybe it wasn't. Maybe just around that time, because they were like so heightened, and God knows what the hell Tristan was doing. And maybe if there was like one instance of something remotely shady between him and her, they just like cut her out just in case.
I think that's like, probably what it was. I don't. I mean, I don't think Larsa's an idiot. I don't think she would go and fuck with Tristan. Like she would. I
don't think so either.
She would know that's gonna come out, and that would be like doomsday for her. Do I think something was said in a rumor, or like there was an inkling of something, or maybe she released a story to the press by accident, or there was a leak and they nailed her and they were like, you two get the fuck out of our group. And that's it. And I think that's probably what went down.
Because, you know, in the Kardashians, they've said before that sometimes they tell certain groups of their friends certain things, and they tell them different things, and then they see what comes out of the press so that they see who's actually talking to the press. So who knows? Those guys are super tight when it comes to stuff like that. So I wouldn't put it past them for something somewhat small to have caused them to like cut her out, because they've like been hurt too many times, I think, or burned too many times that they're not even taking
for
risks.
Sure. And something small, ultimately, if it was something bigger, who knows what you would be talking to the paper. So like, like you're out. So I don't think it's anything as juicy as we think it is, but
what do you think about her tight-lippedness about it? If she's already been cut out, you know, what do you think about the fact that she's not saying anything? I have two thoughts about that.
That's a good question, because I was thinking the same thing. I mean, I just think she's protecting her rap. Like, I feel like at this point she knows she's on camera, and like even the way she dipped from that scene was very like she's like, bye. She didn't have the confessional, nothing. Like she was out. She got in her freaking car and she like zoomed out. So
she like didn't comment on it.
Exactly. She really has this like no fucks given attitude. And I do like that about her, because I do think that she knows that she can exist outside of this show. Her brand will still exist. She doesn't need this show necessarily. So that, and I think that's also why she remained tight-lipped, because she doesn't want to be known as like this person in that industry. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, like I was like, why is she displaying like so much loyalty to them?
Yeah.
Two things. Maybe like she still has hope that she'll get pulled back in at some point. But the other thing is like, God knows what non-disclosure agreements that they have made everybody sign in their family and friends.
True.
And she's afraid of any like legal recourse for saying anything.
But then she could just say that, right? Like she could just say, I can't talk about this on camera.
No, that whatever. Yeah, maybe. You know, but like I was just like kind of surprised at how loyal she was being with saying nothing and getting so upset about it when like she's been cut out from them.
Yeah, and like that's what I mean. Like she didn't make really good TV in that moment. Like her blow up was very, very too serious. Like, you know, people blow up and they're like kind of like just making drama to like for the cameras, like extra. She wasn't being extra. She was saying, I am not having this conversation. Goodbye. Yeah. Like it was an angry, like I'm out reaction. And it sucks. Like obviously, like we wish that she dropped a bit more like bombs along the way. But and Adriana's like doing that on purpose. Like she's trying to like
she is
like instigate her to like get something out, but like she wasn't giving up anything. So
as a viewer, I wish she said more, but it kind of gave me more respect for her.
Yeah, it did. It did. No, like honestly, and I've been listening to other podcasts too, and like other people, and like everyone kind of is on the same page. Like I think we all expected something from Larsa, and like we're getting something that is better, or like we're pleasantly surprised. at who she is. And maybe she also has learned her lessons along the way. Maybe when she was friends with them or with their group, she was a different person. She was like chasing that like clout, you know, and now that she's making her OnlyFans money, she doesn't really need that. I don't know. She seems like a normal person. She seems like someone who has a head on her shoulder. Like she takes care of her kids. Like
I had a little bit of an impression of her that she is an airhead, which like in a sense, like she does display that too, but she does have her head on her shoulders better than I had thought.
Same. And I think she does even, I read something this week that she said, she's like, you know, it's really hard being his wife. Like it was hard being his wife because whatever he said went. Everything was control. Everything was on his terms. Everything was his life. I had to take care of him. Now that I'm seeing her life and like she's emerging as her own person, I'm like, this is a beautiful story too, to see this woman being like, look, I did love you. You're a great person. Like, you know, like we had a great family and everything, but like, it's time for me now. Like, you truly see that and you get that.
Young woman.
Yeah. And some people can knock her down and be like, like OnlyFans or like whatever. She's dating all these people. She said it and she was like, I can date a 21-year-old. I can date a 50-year-old. I can date a 70-year-old. She's like, I don't give a shit as long as I like the person that you are.
And I even like the way that she said, she's like, I don't go after anybody. If you want to show that you're into me and you're going to, you know, come after me and like me for who I am, then yeah, I'll be interested. But like, she's just very sure of herself. Yeah. Very confident.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't need to go after anybody. Lisa.
What happened with Lisa?
Who is she? And like, what's her value? I'm sorry. Like,
I love Lisa.
No, I really don't. I'm sorry.
Why?
What's your, like, I don't mean to sound like mean about a person, but like, what is your value? Like, she comes off very princess, very kind of like snobby. Like when she showed up to her husband's office and she's like, we're in a really bad situation, okay? We don't have the nanny. Like, okay, like big time first world problems. And she couldn't even like comment on the things that she does, that she like works so hard apparently. He's like, you get your hair done, you get your nails done, you get your lashes done. Like, I don't know, I feel like quite a bit of resentment from him to her. I don't know. I just like, what's her storyline other than being like very princessy?
I totally get that. And I totally see it. Here's the thing with him, right? And this is like for a lot of guys, you married a Barbie, you chose her. Yeah. You made her into this person. You literally made her into this person because you gave her your credit card and you said, go fuck off with my credit card and live your life. Now you're at this point where you're like, he wanted his kids. She gave the kids because they weren't going to have kids. I don't even think she wanted kids. And then she's like, okay, like if you want to stay married, let's have kids. They had kids. I don't know. Like there's something about her that I like. I think deep down there's a cool person in there. Does she need to be humbled? Yes.
Yeah.
But like to your point, like he did this to her too. Like you hype these people up and you give them all these privilege and then they get annoying and you're like, why don't be a rich bitch? Well, look at the life that you gave her.
Right. No, right? You're totally right there. Yeah. I don't know. Something about her just like rubs me the wrong way.
I don't know.
Like from her, like,
I want to believe like, there's someone in there.
Yeah, maybe. But like, again, I don't have a lot of the history of Miami because I didn't watch the older seasons. So I don't know like how she was prior to this. And maybe I need to. Because they do a bunch of flashbacks, like they were like when they were talking about her in-laws and how like the progression of their difficult relationship. So I don't know, like maybe she was different before, and I don't know, something about her is just like rubs me the wrong way.
The parent conversation like killed me. I was dying of laughter because like the mom was like, she's like, they made me share a room, and the mom's like, oh my god, like she's how like, terrible. Like, yeah. And then after she's like, Lenny, you know what they say, you marry your mother, and he's like, oh god, like yeah, it's probably true. Like that dynamic was very cute. And I remember the parents from the original seasons.
Yeah,
I want to believe there's someone cool in there. What is concerning to me is like, for example, that conversation they had, I think it was still in the Hamptons, where they were like, what's your fantasy? And like, she couldn't give an answer. And like, that was a little, I was like, are you going to show this facade of a person this whole time? Or are we going to really see the cool Lisa? I know there's a cool Lisa in there. Like, I'm not giving up on her, but like, I want to see more of like the real fun. And I'm sure she's there. It's just like giving an answer like my husband, like that's not an answer, like come on.
Yeah, I'm open to, they've just been showing just like one side of her this whole time, that she's like pretty demanding and a little bit shallow. That's how they're
and like,
kind of
how interesting
her.
would it be to see a housewife go from where she is to like putting on the gloves and like cleaning the floors and like cleaning the toilets and like cooking dinner. Like she learned a recipe or like she learned how to cook. Like I would be down for that storyline.
No, I would like to see anything that shows her like a real person.
Yeah.
Because right now she's like truly a Barbie. And like I just don't relate to that. I just don't relate to that at all. That's why.
They play it up a lot.
Yeah.
But I truly think that's how she is, because her tagline is even like, he wanted a Barbie and like he made that real or something.
He said it's my husband made the perfect wife, which like I hate that phrase. I don't and I made a perfect life. Like, okay, man, like I don't know. It's just everything's very, very superficial with her.
And I honestly, I hope that like he's not cheating on her or anything. Like I really hope that.
Even in their like confessional together, when they were commenting about the fact that he said how him and her and the mom are very similar, it was all like negative things. And when she was like, do you have anything else to say that's like good about me? He's like he didn't even say
he's
anything.
Like, you're outgoing.
So, like, yeah, that was it. That was like the one positive. And I'm like, okay. But obviously they've had a troubled marriage.
Yeah, it's not, that's no surprise for sure.
Yeah.
I think the way maybe
I'm not saying he's perfect. I have no like comment on him. I don't like him or not like him either. I just find her like a little shallow.
Yeah, but otherwise, Miami's good.
Miami was fun. There was Gertie's fashion show.
Oh, Gertie, yeah, that looked like so much fun.
Yeah, it did. How cool! Like sometimes I get really nervous when there's like advances in technology, but this one I thought was really cool. Where like during the fashion show, people could like put up their phones of like the fashions walking down the runway. And like it automatically kind of sent them a QR code to be able to purchase that item. I was like, that's sick.
That is like, live catalog. Like that's so cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah. I really like her. She was actually on Watch What Happens Live last night. And there's just something so cool about her. I don't really know what it is. I can't like explain it in a word, but like she's someone who I would love to be friends with. Like she's just a good person. I think in her heart of hearts, like she's fun, but she's like a good, genuine person.
Well, they show her a lot like working and hustling and being entrepreneurial. And so like, I like those aspects of her. So I think she's really cool too.
I really like how her husband's like this really quiet guy, like not flashy, not the like, jet setting lifestyle. Like she is okay with living this life that she is hustle and she is career driven. Yeah. But when she comes home, she likes this like sort of humble, down to earth, like dynamic. And that shows you who she is too. So I really like her.
I like her a lot too. Yeah. Nothing really happened with Julia this episode, right?
No.
Nothing really happened. She like kind of commented on, I don't know, Adriana, like every episode I change my mind about her. I'm like, one episode I like her, one episode she annoys me. So like she really flips off.
I think she's supposed to be that character, and like she is good for TV because she does like she pokes the bear and like she gets these like dramatic moments out of people.
So what's the situation with her boyfriend? Like, why did she go out like singlelies? Did they just mean like not married? Like, I don't think they're together. Are they not?
I don't think they're exclusive. Like, I feel like she has. I feel like she's a very like open person. Like, she dates men, she dates women. She doesn't believe maybe in like monogamy. I don't know. I mean, I'm not speaking for her, but like, she just seems like a very like chill, laid back, flowy person. Like,
I have a question: is Kiki an actual housewife or is she a friend?
No, I think she's a friend because she's not because on the
they
main
never
screen.
Go into her right.
Yeah,
and they never go into her life. It's always like as it relates to. Like,
same
I would
with
like to know what's up with
Marisol.
Kiki.
Wait, is that her name? Yeah, Marisol.
She's wasn't even in this episode.
No,
she wasn't even in the episode.
I love her.
Me too. I like her. I
love her little straw. Like every time she like freaking like yeah, she's like, wait for the tea, honey, it's coming, and then she'll say it like in Spanish. I do love her. She's not on the main screen, but I definitely do think like she's earning that spot this season.
Yeah. Okay. Again, I didn't realize that.
She's playing it up. Like she's playing up that role. She says she has some dirt on Nicole, and I'm like waiting to hear what it actually is.
Nicole wasn't even in this episode.
No, it was very like Grady heavy and like the whole Larsa thing. Yeah. Which is good. Switch it up sometimes and like let us see different people, you know?
Yeah.
It is a big cast,
and there's
right?
there's a lot of them. I was just gonna say, there's a lot of them.
It is a big cast.
I'm really enjoying Miami.
Me too. I really am. And I don't know if it's because it's like -20 over here and it's just nice to watch. But obviously beyond that, like I feel like the ladies are like just a really fun, quirky, cute group of girls that are very like from Larsa to Julia to Nicole, like they're very different. And to see them all together, they're just a very cute group. So I really, really hope that they keep this cast for next season, and maybe like add Kiki and Marisol, but that might break too many people actually.
I like Marisol a lot.
I like Marisol too. Yeah. But she kind of is that person that can be the friend of and like still has a lot of airtime. But obviously, like if she says like put me on the thing, then they're gonna have to put her on the main cast, obviously, because they get paid more, right? The only thing that might suck is that they're probably not going to do a reunion for Miami because technically it's on Peacock. It's not Bravo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's not like, I think
Andy's Bravo not part of it.
No, like it is, I think, because it's under NBC, I think. But like I was reading something that they were like, there probably won't be an after show because it's not really like a Bravo show, that there should be an after show. But I don't know, like anything obviously is possible. If they know it's going to get high ratings, why wouldn't they just do one?
So just like with Ultimate Girls Trip.
Yeah. Because that was
Peacock. They didn't do anything because that was Peacock. I don't understand how these things work.
I know. It must be like just
different
something.
Networks.
It's not network. It's just, I think, different production companies maybe. So they're like, who's going to like film it? Who's going to edit it? Like which team are we going to get to like do that package?
Right, you know? right.
I don't know. I don't know how those things work.
I would be really sad if there's no reunion.
They're missing out. People will 100% watch a reunion.
Yeah, I love reunions.
Yeah, and then I think New York should be announced like any day now. Like who's going to be on it?
I need to know.
I need to know now. I don't know.
New York, my New York girls. I need to know.
I saw Demois the other day. You know what Demois is, right?
No, what's Demois?
That one account. I'll send it to you. Someone posted a blind, I think that was like, I think it was on Demois, I can't remember. And someone was like an East Coast housewife, like an OG East Coast housewife.
Okay.
Is still in talks like for her contract. And basically like producers are saying that like she said too many like fucked up things that they can't, like they just don't see themselves like renewing her contract. And like if they're gonna hold the standard for every housewife, they have to adhere it for her too.
But what does East Coast mean? That could be a lot of different.
That could be a lot of things. And then I read that something that it was the Candice from Potomac, but I think it is Ramona.
No, Ramona.
People were like, because you know how they took down Jenny. They took down Jenny from Salt Lake. They're like, you can't be saying these things. And they're like, the whole comment section when I was reading it, it was like, take off Ramona. She's the worst. We'll see the fate of the ladies.
See. All right.
I think that's it. Thank you for joining me again for another Real Housewives recap.
Anytime. My favorite time of the week.
It's so much fun. Okay. Until next week, I guess, eh?
Sounds good.
Bye. And that is it, guys, for the podcast this week, covering off Ranjay. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys loved my best friend / co-host. So let us know. Follow us on Instagram at the Hollywood Heroine with the E at the end. Comment, DM us. Let us know what you thought about the podcast. And if you can, guys, if you're listening, we're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. Drop us a review on iTunes. Let us know how we're doing, if you like us, and if you guys want more of this. So thank you so much. Bye.